And our conversation is coalition and Nigerian politics, where we talk about Peter Obi confirms 2027 presidential bid under ADC. Our guest joining us via phone call is Bill Cosby Jones, who is a journalist. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening.
We're glad to have you on the show tonight. Thank you for joining.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Good evening to everyone listening to us or watching us. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so let's just dive right into the business. Coalition is happening, or a coalition has happened, and Peter Obi has come out to confirm his presidential bid under ADC come 2027 general elections. What is your take on this particular development?
All right, so I'm going to start by having a balance or having a go at what a coalition is and what an alliance is. All right, in 2012, we had an alliance. Alliance is the coming together of people, individuals, political parties, social organizations for a long term, a longer period. A coalition is a quick, fast fix for anything. It's a short term. We're coming together of people, diverse people for one interest. Now, the coalition, ADC, are coming together of political bigwigs in Nigeria. So they chose ADC rather, as the vehicle. Now, here's what I think. The coalition, I heard the presidency making one comment, and that comment is that the coalition is not going to survive the next 6 months. Now, the coalition in itself is a problem because we have political heavyweights, strong political gladiators who came together nursing different ambitions, everyone with his or her ambition. The Rotimi Chibika Mechis wants to become president. Atiku Abubakar wants to become president. El-Rufai wants to become president. Then Peter Obi, who to me was the favorite in 2023, is also vying for presidency through the ADC. Does he have any chance in the ADC? I'm yet to see that glimmer of hope for those who are the progressives in Nigeria who believe that Peter Obi should be that answer to the economic strangulation that we're facing. But would he have that chance in the ADC? It seemed to me like a cow passing through the eye of the needle, because all of the persons who are the henchmen, the head honchos, the ADC, are people I see as power-hungry politicians.
You agree with the statement that these people are just out for their own personal ambitions?
Do you have any better opinion than to say that these persons have served the Nigerian state at various capacities at one point or the other? Rotimi Chibika Mechi was a governor in Rivers State. Peter Obi was a governor in Anambra State. Atiku Abubakar was a governor elected in Adamawa State and became the vice president of Nigeria. Named them. El-Rufai was Kaduna State former governor. So all of these people came into the coalition for first selfish interests before you talk about the interest of the people. You can't rule that away. It's not in itself a bad thing. It's not. But, with the selfish interest, does it override the interest of the masses? That's where you begin to draw the correlation between what is good and what is evil.
Okay then, despite the alignment, the ADC interim chairman has already stressed that the party hasn't formally endorsed any candidates yet. What do you think about the statement?
All right, so that's what it should be. If you are to go and then you talk about the electoral guideline, right? I mean, I didn't expect David Mark to say otherwise. All right, because one, the electioneering hasn't started yet. It will be shooting himself in the foot if he says, "Oh, the ADC is ready," and then we are adopting a consensus candidate. It will go against the Electoral Act. So what he said wasn't out of book. But again, it also tells you the kind of game the ADC is playing. I can really beat my chest to say that the APC, the ruling All Progressive Congress in Nigeria, is a bit shaky, because you can't really say what the ADC is coming to do. You can't figure them out. A while ago, they were preaching ADA, all right, a new party, and all of a sudden, it was a decoy, and then we're talking ADC now. Who knows? Tomorrow they can lift up their banner and then go to NCC. We do not know. But one thing this has done is it has created a new excitement in the political scene, especially for us journalists. We now have a thing to talk about. It's as though we have a viable opposition, and so that's for me. But so the statement by David Mark is what everybody, a right-thinking person, should say. You can't start playing your cards, dealing your cards early as 2025 when we have elections in 2027.
Okay, so looking at the shift of P2B from the Labour Party and now to ADC, what would you say, or how would you score the stability and ideology of political parties in Nigeria?
Okay, so in Nigeria, the political parties like ideology. I'm going to give you an instance, and I'm going to run this as quickly as possible. If you look at the American political scene, all right, the Democrats and the Republican. In 1992, the Democrats, the American faces a very big threat in terms of security. Called Saddam Hussein, rather, and Americans voted in Republicans, who it is believed are Republicans are war veterans, and then they flushed out Saddam Hussein. After that, it took a toll on the economy. And so they had to bring in a Democrat. That's my permutation. And then Bill Clinton came in. After Bill Clinton, they faced another threat in America. So the parties in Nigeria lack ideology. Is anywhere there's any party that wins, the whole of this. So it has not moved our democracy a step further than what we had in 1999. All right, so you can't say that PDP is all for economy. They want Nigeria to diversify. The PDP is a party that believes in agriculture. APC is a party that believes that foreign exchange can change the economy of Nigeria. Do no party ideology. We do not have that in Nigeria. So it's a huge problem. Two things. It's either the politicians do not have proper education on what democracy and what political party ideology is about. All right. So and then the people, you and I, the electorates, know nothing less. They do not know more than the politicians in Nigeria. So I will attribute that to lack of proper education, orientation of how political parties should be run.
Looking at the big wigs that we have in ADC, we have Obi, we have Atiku, we have El Rufai, so many of them. Do you think they really do stand a chance against the All Progressive Congress come 2027?
All right, so it would have been a fair fight if we had a different mechanism of electing head of electoral umpires. The head of INEC is appointed by the presidency. That's the INEC. That's the electoral body that conducts election in Nigeria. The INEC is funded by the presidency. So, you know the popular saying, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Let's talk about the judiciary in Nigeria. How has the judiciary fared in the past decade? Can you look back and say, these are laudable landmark judgments in favor of the masses, the you and I's in Nigeria? So I would have been, concerned for APC if we had the structures at different levels working. The judiciary is working. The legislature is working. The masses will vote and their vote will count. it would have been easier to make that prediction now. Because if you look at the caliber of people with the ADC, it can easily be judged as some of the brightest minds in Nigerian politics. The Erufais, you talk about the P2Bs, the Amechis. These are minds that have given Nigerians hope. If you place these politicians side by side, regardless of the perks they get as a president, people will easily pick P2B. But will your vote, do they have what it takes in terms of the financial muscle, in terms of controlling the will of the structure that dictates who becomes president, governor, and local government in Nigeria? They may not have that. So that is going to be a problem. That's the only cog in the wheel of progress for the ADC.
Okay, so Peter B had stated that he just, if elected into power, he just wants to rule for one term and there will be significant change when he becomes president. Do you think that is something that is possible, knowing that we have so much damage piled up years after years, and then he just wants to make a change under 4 years? I mean, he said there was going to be visible change under 2 years, and just really for one tenure we'll have like a turnaround. So is this something that is possible?
P2B cannot solve this problem in the next 10 years, because the problem is not just about the people. The problem is about the structure, the faulty structure that we have. In fact, no structure at all. We do not have working mechanism. For instance, Signature TV can commit a crime because it's Signature TV. The law we can't muster enough courage to bring Signature TV to answer to justice. So it starts from your community. It starts from your household. You have a brother who is a governor. He doesn't do anything substantial. Maybe build a mansion that is worth more than 50 years of his salary, and then you chastise, you abuse him, you quarrel him for not stealing money. So the structure is not just about the government doing the right thing. It's about people changing our ways. It's about you going to work early and then knowing that you are paid to do your job. It's about knowing our mothers and fathers telling their daughters and sons, write your WAEC exam, write your entrance examination yourself. Don't cheat. So if we start changing from there, it's not about top to bottom. It's about bottom to top. The society can only produce, the leaders we have came from the society. So you can only give what you have. You can't give what you do not have. The products that are ruling us today are from the society, like you and I. So if P2B saying that he can change Nigeria in 4 years, I laughed. I'm laughing because in 2012, the APC told us they were going to make a change. Regardless of how rotten Nigeria is, they were going to make a change. It's about 10 years now. I'm yet to see that change. So it's all propaganda. It's all frosty talk just to get into power and maybe try his best to see what he can do.
Okay, do you think the ADC can actually contain these big wigs and also manage their internal power struggles without imploding, knowing that these people have their own personal ambitions and they want to use this platform to achieve it?
That's going to be the biggest doubt the people have about the ADC. The convergence of political heavyweights with diverse interests, people who. So if the APC survives in together bringing out a front runner, then the APC will have a say in the 2027 election. Now, people fear implosion because Atiku perennial is always wanting to be president. All right, thinking he has ideas that he needs to birth ideas that will change Nigeria. P2B, someone in 2023 started a movement. It's not just about a political party, but there's a movement for P2B called the Obedience. They are going to continue in 2027. still in the ADC. If he loses, if you don't give him the ticket, write it down somewhere. Peter Obi will look for another political party just to run the 2027 election as a presidential candidate. So same as Atiku. So the ADC is a walking disaster. All right, that's what I call it, a walking disaster. The only way they can convince Nigerians that they are for real is if they unanimously appoint, elect, get a head that will lead them in 2027 unanimously, without breaking into bits just to chase their ambitions.
Okay, let's look at how the people, the youths and eyes, are reacting to this particular situation. Do you think that they will come out in their numbers in 2027 to vote for their preferred candidates, knowing what happened in 2023 and people were really displeased with the results announced by INEC? What do you think will be the fate of the electorate in 2027 and coming out in their numbers to perform their rights?
So I covered the election in River State in 2023, and then I ran and then I oversaw elections in 4 local government areas on that day. Now, part of the things in a post-election analysis, I've listened to intelligent people talk about 2027. What's the anticipation of 2027? Now, Nigerians believe that they have learned in 2023 the trickery, what INEC did in 2023. And then some of the things the politicians displayed, we feel as a Nigerian, because I'm also a Nigerian, that we have learned how not to make that same mistake in 2027. Now, there's so much pressure on INEC to make sure that election results are transmitted to IREV in real time in 2027. A lot of persons are calling for a review of the Electoral Act to mandate INEC, mandatory, that INEC transmits the election results to IREV in 2027. If that succeeds, it means that the elections in 2023 is going to have one of the biggest turnouts, because from the setup for 2027, you could see that Nigerians are beginning to ask the questions that matter, which is, I saw a coalition of non-governmental organizations, CSOs, march in Abuja, calling for the removal of Yakubu, Mahmoud Yakubu, the INEC chairman, a more neutral person, and then that we should advance our electoral processes. We should get more of technological devices to do our election so that the votes can count. If that 2027, if we're going to have voter apathy, if we're going to have people turn out en masse to vote, from now till next year, June, will determine. The body language of INEC will determine if it's going to be business as usual, and if Nigerians are not speaking up before then. If we do not push for something drastic, a change that will usher in new electoral processes, then rest assured, the apathy that will hit 2027, the carry-go of the APC will be loud.
Thank you so much, Bill, for your contribution on this particular topic.
Thank you very much, Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.